Okay. You want to do that again?
You want to do it again? Go ahead.
Well, go ahead. Just say what you said.
Hi, everybody. This is Sonny and Lisa. We are um, co-founders of Committed to Us, and we are creating a safe place for couples to come together and get support and encouragement on all things marriage. Marriage is a wonderful ride, but there are ups and downs, and we just want to be a place for couples to be around and see that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary.
Yes.
Had a good time. We went to a little spot in a small town called Mount Vernon.
Yes.
Uh, Basically, was an escape room for adults. Had a blast. It was good. What was it called? It was called Romantic Adventure Getaways. If
Right.
anybody's interested in going, you and your spouse, y'all work and solve puzzles together to get out of your main room into different tunnels and go into different rooms and stuff. And in those rooms, you solve the other puzzles to get to the next room. So
Right.
it's a good time. Y'all should check it out. Look it up online. See if it's something you're interested in. And I suggest that every couple do it. It's good exercise, good getaway. Make sure you give yourself a whole night away from kids if you have kids, and distractions. Period. Just tell your friends don't call. 5 o'clock on until the next morning, and
Yes.
Set that time aside for you too,
Right.
and you will have a good time.
Yeah.
So,
What did you like most about it?
Well, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give stuff too much
Well,
away.
I mean, we can be real general.
I think I liked the applause room, where we had to do the applause to get out of the room.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay. That was good.
I like that one. That was my favorite room out of how many rooms? Like 4 or 5, something.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 rooms. Yes.
So yeah, that was my favorite room. What about you?
I think I just like the whole concept of us working together. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was funny to laugh at each other, because we kind of pride ourselves on being like pretty smart, I guess. And the first clue took us like almost 2 hours, hour and a half. It was a good hour and a half.
Yeah,
it was a good hour and a half to solve it. And so you kind of like look back at yourself like, am I really not the smartest?
Right.
Am I really not the smartest person in the classroom?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I really like that it was just you and I. And where we've been to other escape rooms where you have to solve clues. I think the fun thing with this was that it wasn't timed, so we could go on our own pace.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't put so much pressure, because I know we've been to some where it's been timed and we kind of get to the last and we're like snipping in at each other because nobody can figure it out. So
you talking about the whole family?
The whole family, yeah, the whole family one we went to.
So competitive. Yeah.
So I think that it's a good thing for couples. Like I really think it allows you to just be with each other. And when we got our little small, when we got to the next part, it was like, yay, high five. Yeah. So the bonding and stuff was excellent. And it was I just thought it was really good. I mean, I kind of felt, it took us about 6.
Well, we got in the flow though. The other stuff we figured we got in a groove.
Right.
So that's the other part, that just learning. Sometimes you get out of working with your partner. Even your phones get upgrades every so often.
Right.
So your partner is changing, getting upgrades. They're going to work, they're going to trainings, they're changing. Your partner doesn't stay the same as when you first met them.
Yes.
So we almost had to realize that we both are in a different place mentally, and come together and work together where we're at now, and as two different changed people. It was a good reminder for us, because we haven't done an activity like that together. We're usually playing cards or something where you're kind of opposed. So so it is a great exercise.
Team building for couples. Yes, team building for couples. And just those little small moments of like I said, past, going to the next level. It was like, it was fun. And we got to laugh at each other and laugh at ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that I don't think we've done that. I mean, we do it every once in a while, but for it to just to be focused on us, it was fun.
No, because you do tend to take yourself a little too seriously.
Yeah.
When you get in these ruts and different things, so it's a good break from the norm, a really good break from the norm.
Yeah.
I do recommend it.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if there's any other ones outside of Mount Vernon,
I haven't looked.
but definitely if you have something near you, I recommend it. I recommend it. And we kind of had a little side joke. If we ever like won the lottery or something, we would make another one and do different types of things.
Yes.
That like a Coming to America room or something like that.
Right.
So
Or the Wiz.
or the Wiz. Or the Wiz, and then something really tropical.
Yeah.
So, but it was really really a good time. I kind of was bummed out when it was time to come back home. I was like, okay,
That's a sign of a good time.
yeah, that's a sign of a good time.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we've had like a really really busy week. Today we're celebrating our son's 18th birthday, and that has been a journey in itself. It is so rewarding to see the young man that he's turning into, growing into.
Yeah.
So this year, 18 years ago, I was still in labor. Still in labor. I had a long labor. He was born like 9/13. So yeah, 18 years ago. And it's been a ride.
Yeah,
It definitely has.
They're all doing great. I'm proud of all of them.
They're all doing great. Yeah. So I guess what we could just stay on the topic of celebrations, and I guess what have you learned over our 20 years of marriage, ups and downs, and on all that 20 years.
My goodness. A lot.
About 25 years knowing each other, but 20 years married, and it's.
I think separately, I've learned things about myself that I didn't realize. That I think some on my own, some you've helped me realize.
Okay.
But I think I've learned how to give more grace, be more patient. I think the way I grew up with just being, playing football, doing different things like that, where it was just more aggressive. You grew up and we were just kind of aggressive. All my cousins, we were just competitive and aggressive. So I just learned to balance out, add more tools to the tool belt, add grace, patience, understanding, listening, other things. Just try to be more well-rounded as a person, period. And then obviously that makes you better in relationships with friends, brothers, cousins, wives, whatever. I just think you just always should try to get better individually so you can show up better in a group or in a relationship.
Okay.
So that's what I've learned.
Okay. I've learned a few things. I've learned that marriage is compromise. I think when you come into marriage, you have your way of thinking about things, your perspective, and it's a wake up call, early on that, where we were alike in so many things, the things that we, had different perspectives on. I can say that sometimes I made them more than what they needed to be. And I think that was probably, a little bit of ego, a little bit of pride, because, the older you get, you're so set in your ways. It's sometimes hard to get out of that. So
what do you mean by more than what it needed to be? Just so I'm clear.
I think for me, what is it? Don't sweat the small stuff. Like everything, pick your battles. So I think with the art of compromising for me is that, is this something that we're going to talk about in the next couple of days? Is it going to be something that's going to be so heavy that we can't come to an agreement on
it? So I think I'm hearing you basically don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, don't. Okay.
Yeah. And marriage has made me, like I said, I had to stop being so defensive, just based off of my upbringing. I just, for you, I had not to bring that extra baggage and go back into that parental relationship whenever I kind of felt that, even though you were giving constructive criticism, I may have taken it personally. So I had to really stop taking things so personally, and see it for what it is, that we are in this together, and that we're trying to come to some common outcome.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I've gotten better. We've both gotten better with the, I guess, owning our own stuff.
Yeah.
I think, once again, that comes with growth. I think, having to admit, sometimes we weren't right. I had to put my big girl pants on and apologize, um, and then with the hated word submit. Like, I know a lot of women hate. They feel that submission means that you're being walked over, but I think there were times that I needed to submit and let you take the lead, because I don't always have all the answers, even though I might think that I do, and my way may not be better.
I think it goes both ways. So, I mean, there's times where you're going to be better at something, and so same thing. I mean, why am I going to take a 2 years to do something when you have the skill to do it, in 2 months or something?
That's
So
true.
I think that goes both ways. It's just I think sometimes we let society and the world kind of box us in, and then we kind of are really fighting against that, not our partner. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
fighting against the stereotype, or you know what I mean, submitting. A lot of women feel like that's something geared towards, but that's just you giving enough grace to say okay, and have enough smarts to say okay, no, you do this better than me, or you
Right.
take the lead. We can both work on it, but let's go with your plan.
Right.
Or I mean, I just think you had to know your partner enough to know each other's strengths, and know yourself enough to know, let me back off, and let me, this ain't my lane.
Yeah. And submission doesn't make you the weaker person.
No.
I think, like you said, society makes it seem like, if I say that I'm a submitted woman, people are like, oh no, you're just letting him, run you and tell you what to do. No, it is like you said, sometimes you have better insight on things, and sometimes I could be so emotional about a thing that my vision is blurred. And, it is your job to, see those things, and where I can't see.
It's our job.
Our job, right?
As a partner. I mean, in each other.
Yeah.
I just think that's what people in general let society kind of frame them, or get them almost, like you said, in a defensive stance already before they come to their partner, before they even start going down that road with their partner. So reframe your thinking a lot of times, and understand where it's coming from. Is it my childhood? Is it my ex? Is it society?
Right.
Try to get in that thing and understand where it's coming from, so you can help your partner understand you after you understand yourself.
Right. And I think the one thing, if I was to tell my younger self, like the early days of us being married, it would be to heal that inner child and that baggage. I think if I had dealt with that, a lot of the stuff probably wouldn't have shown up the way it did. But once again, when you're in when you come into a relationship, you come thinking that you pretty much, you have the answers, and it sometimes does not go that way.
I mean, especially me. I know I came in, and you probably felt like you had to take me down a couple pegs. I mean, I came in high horse.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes,
I can admit it now. I came in
right,
like I was the prize. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But you really do. You have to not take yourself like you ain't perfect. Yeah. Everybody has their stuff. So,
but that, once again, that's working on the inner child and the baggage that you come, because I believe everybody comes with something into a relationship, and you just have to figure out if that's something that you want to make better. And some stuff you got to let go. Like some stuff, like I said, I couldn't keep going on taking everything so personal. I mean, because I would have been a hard person to live with.
You've done a great job. I mean, and I also, just you seeing your effort in doing that made it easier for me to give grace, for me to go, you know what, let me try harder in my areas, so it just really starts compounding once somebody does take a step. And in our case, you were the one to take the first step. So That right there shows leadership.
Right. Yeah, I think that. And then, I mean, and I had a lot of things that, yeah, the trauma is real. Yes. And it is so funny because I'm going through like individual therapy, and I never considered my childhood any trauma. I had a very structured childhood, but it was in my mind not trauma. But I found out that the way that I react and relate to some things is because of some things I didn't get in my childhood, and you have to heal that person to move forward, and so you can show up better.
I have a question since you brought that up.
Okay.
What? Let me ask you this:
Mhm.
how would you versus a counselor? You a counselor? You have a counselor, or you have a psychologist? What do you have?
She just goes back there. Counselor, more of a counselor.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, how would you first that a counselor or a therapist versus coach? What would you say the differences are?
So for me, the therapist, counselor, we are revisiting my childhood. We are revisiting those moments that made me who I am now. And so I think with that, you heal that, and then you go on and you figure out better ways to relate. With coaching, we take strategies to help you from where you're at. Now we will deal with the individual, but we're giving you strategies so that you can move forward, and so that you can those issues that and areas that you're deficient in, we can help you and encourage you to do a different way.
So one is more like diagnosing, and the other one's more like a game plan.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so when I go through her, like I said, I'm learning a lot that I just for whatever reason didn't think was any kind of issues, but I see how the childhood makes me relate in my relationships and me as an adult. So those are the things that the counselor kind of helps you move through.
Okay.
Yeah. So so that is really the focus. So I do always encourage people, because we've tried couples counseling. It didn't go well. We did it a couple of times, and
you know where they have their play. I think we did gain some from it, but
yes.
To get to where we're at now, it wasn't gonna get us there. The coaching got us to this level.
Right.
That helped us recognize some stuff, which got us to a certain level.
Right.
But we still didn't have the finishing touches.
Right.
You know what I mean? To get to the finish line, we still had some things we could not get past.
Absolutely.
So it does help you recognize it. It's just how did you get past certain things?
Right.
And I kept saying I wasn't. I don't know if you remember. I kept saying I'm not going to do this in my 30s.
Yes.
I'm not going to do this in my 40s.
Yes.
I'm not going to do this, and then I still stayed in that same place.
But I think coaching,
until we got the coaching.
Coaching reframed the way you thought about it, because, and I guess we were on two different levels. Like you would say, yes, I don't want to argue, and I'm like, okay, so we're not arguing, but we're not going to agree because we're not the same person. That doesn't mean that we're arguing. We just have two different perspectives, and we had to figure out a way to express those in a way that the other person could receive it.
Right, but we didn't have none of that, so it was still a place where it was uncomfortable to even go.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't a good space. So yeah, I mean, instead of going through with it and doing in a healthy way, it was like I don't even want to.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're both good. It's just in different ways.
In different ways, yeah. And I think another thing that I've learned, priorities. I've had I've had my struggle on prioritizing, and I think it's all because women, we are told that we can do it all.
Say that again.
Women are told we can do it all, and sometimes
and who's telling them that? Is it their husbands? Who's telling them that?
It's not.
Who's telling y'all this?
It's everybody else. It's the world. Yes, and finding the compromise, and yeah.
I just want to know where y'all getting them. That's all. I mean, if it's us, we need to know that.
So,
and if it's the world, then we need to know that to help you deal with it. But we got to put our finger on where that's coming from.
the world.
But somebody else they
Yes,
said the
it's
world
the
too.
world, and I think it's something that's taught when we're younger because I think you don't want to be raised to be someone that we're brought up to not need somebody, like we can do it on our own because we want to be self-sufficient because we don't want to feel like we need a man.
Mm-hmm.
But in that, we then take on that we have to hold this plate up and this plate up and this plate up because if we don't, we're going to be looked at differently.
By
The world. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just
okay,
saying.
I'm just trying to understand.
I'm just saying that, and I know I've heard people say that they wish that you know women we weren't referred to as strong women because I don't want to be strong,
Mm.
But the opposite is saying that you're weak, and we don't want to be looked at as weak.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there needs to be a new word created. Like we don't need to be strong, Yeah, and independent. Yeah, so raised up to be black woman that's independent. It kind of doesn't make space for you. And so when you get into a relationship, you've been told to be this independent. I can, because before I married you, I had my own house. I had my own car. I was living a life.
Mm-hmm.
So
talking about that Accord, that Honda Accord.
Yes, that was
the green one.
I was living the life, and I just it felt like when we got married that some of that stuff I felt like maybe I should dial it down, but I wanted to still do all of that. I wanted to still be that person that I was before. And I think that's, you could, and it could go two ways once you get married. You could lose that and lose yourself in the marriage, or you could be so independent that you push your husband away. And so with the priorities, I really had to figure out, like, is this benefiting the family and us, or is this just me wanting to say I can do it all?
I think we should come up with a word that, you're saying somebody should grade. We should come up with that, y'all.
Okay.
Let's come up with a word that suits y'all.
Yeah.
A name that suits y'all that's not too hard, not too soft.
Right. Yeah. And you're right. Becoming so independent, we do lose our softness. I remember, like, you've always, because I felt that, like, my voice is, like, really kind of deep for a woman. And
especially in the mornings.
You want that softness, and I'm like, well, I can't even talk softly because it's going to come out. Hey, baby, it's going to come out so in my mind.
You can't whisper. You don't know how to whisper.
I can, but I kind of felt being so independent that it was hard to be that soft person because we are we take on that load. Because okay, now case in point, if you're not an independent woman, if you're not capable of doing it, then what are you looked at as a gold digger? Like you're either independent, able to take care of your own, or you are weak and you need a man.
So it's one extreme or the other.
Yes, one extreme or the other. At least that's my perception of it. I don't know if there was ever an in between. Like you can be independent.
Is there something out there, y'all? Like, how they have metrosexual man, they have all these different types. Is there something out there for that woman that you're describing? Is there a name already and I just don't know it? I mean, does anybody know that, or do you
I don't know if there's a metrosexual woman.
Well, I'm wondering, is there something out there for what you described? Because I mean, it makes sense what you're saying, but you would think by now with all these other titles we've come up with.
My son. That's a good question. I don't know. I know, yeah. So for you guys, you do have an in between. Like you either have an alpha male, you have a weak man, but then you have a metrosexual man who can do, and a masculine man who can navigate both. But for women, we're either strong.
We got to come up with something.
I do know.
We might coin something right here, though.
There are some alpha females, which
we know that I've heard that.
There's some alpha females, which goes into the whole thing of having to do stuff for yourself and taking it to the extreme. And you don't. So, I do know alpha females, and that softness isn't there. We don't know how to switch back into that and let a man, that our husbands, be that. Okay, somebody came up with a word. A hot buttered sourdough sister. Okay.
HBSS. Okay.
That's a good
one. Okay.
Okay. But you're nice and soft. That you know what? That could work. That could work.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know for women if that's something that's even told to us that, because even like my mom, she always told us, make sure you got your money, make sure that you can, handle your stuff on your own, so that you are not dependent on a man. I don't know where that other, like I said, the other extreme of that is needing a man. And I think women, we don't want to feel like we need a man. We want a man.
I agree with you. I don't think anybody should feel like, to that degree. I think there has to be a balance to everything. I think I say that all the time. There needs to be a balance to everything. So,
oh, absolutely. But we'll have to do some research and do a talk on that, because that's very.
I want to come up with a couple, but that right now we're gonna have to roll with that and look at
the hot butter sourdough sister. Yeah.
Because we can get that coined and actually.
Because you're not all the way soft like a butter. Yeah. Yeah. Sourdough's a little.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what you're about to say.
But that's just very interesting. Yeah. As I'm talking, you're either independent or you're not. Like, there's nothing in between.
Okay. I mean, you actually hit on something there. So we got to look into that.
We'll have to look into that. Okay. That'll be a good topic. That'll be a good topic. But like I was saying, with priorities, I had to learn some stuff I couldn't do. Some stuff I had to learn how to say no.
Okay.
And no is a complete sentence. So you can take that.
Okay.
No is a complete sentence, and I heard, Ellen said the hot butter. Don't use her word. She said don't use her.
No, we gonna coin it as a group when we do it. So
we're gonna give you credit.
We definitely gonna. You'll get the. We just want to get some out here, so we can give y'all a space to actually feel comfortable. Yeah.
I don't think we are given a space. I really don't.
Yeah.
And society the world is normally run by men, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that we're trying to do, but it's just not enough people trying to do it. So that's why we're trying to start this movement now. We're trying to start a real movement. Y'all know that we're trying to start a movement where we can get things to be a little more sensible, because it's just it's so out of whack and so incredible that there's that many more ignorant people still out there.
Oh yeah.
But if we help to build a community and keep enlarging this community, at some point we gotta make a dent. We gotta be able to, take over the ignorance. So.
And I just think as a society, we need to, those that are married, we need to make it normal that marriage it ebbs and flows. It is not always going to be like a fairy tale.
You stepping on my toes now. I knew you was gonna come for me.
Oh yeah, I'm coming for you.
Okay, yeah, I had that problem. Too much TV as a kid, and
but your TV just wasn't TV.
That's a whole nother.
I mean, we could share. Can I share?
Whatever. Man. Go ahead.
So his idea of TV, he got his, I guess, the idea of what a woman should revere him as. You got that from Purple Rain?
That's one show. That was one show out of many. But
okay, but that was a major show. Like
that was one of the shows I watched as a teen. I probably shouldn't have been watching at that age and stuff. But yes, there was always this. I think I watched all those shows where y'all just looked at us like, and just
he can do no wrong.
Fell out and just everybody and so I actually unwisely took that as, that's what
love is.
I want love is. I want my wife to look at me like that, which did not work out, y'all. That did not work out. All I looked like was an egomaniac, narcissist, crazy dude. That's all I looked like.
And the shows I grew up on were like Little House on the Prairie.
She still try to watch that thing. I'll be throwing the remote. She can't watch that anymore.
And anything that was just like they worked together.
Yeah, Murder She Wrote with that. I'm not even gonna talk about her, but that's one of your other girls.
I know.
Yeah,
but I did not know. So that was a conversation we did not have before we got married. The perception of what you felt a wife should be like. We talked about what we thought marriage would be, but we didn't have that conversation. I didn't know that when you came home from work, I'm supposed to be like Apollonia, just waiting for you. Like I did not understand.
Did I say that? I said that?
Yeah, in so many words.
I don't remember
Yes.
saying that, but I might have, maybe once.
Yes, you did.
Heart to Heart. That's one of your. We aging ourselves like crazy right now.
Right, we are.
Heart to Heart was one. She was cool. Their relationship, I liked how they.
Right, and it was a give and take.
Yeah,
it was a give and take. She was an independent woman, and she knew how to be soft.
Yes, that one.
Yes, Prince
one.
Purple Rain.
She goes to that one. That ain't the only one I told her, but that's the one she.
But that was the one, yeah, because the scene that he's talking about is when Prince was singing and Apollonia is in the crowd, she's looking at him like,
maybe
that's what he wanted me to be, and I'm like,
yeah, y'all seen that, right?
I was like, oh no,
yeah, but she's like,
just fawning over him, and I was just
like, up there like,
that ain't.
Yeah, I tried to do that too. I tried to do it with the hair, and my hair was long then too. So yeah, I tried to do that. She looked at me like I was crazy, y'all. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, all that.
Yeah, all so that was and I guess when I didn't come up to that level, you just like, wait a minute. Yeah, you were crushed.
I was crushed. I was like, I did the. I was like, did I do it? I turned to the side and did it again, and did the move with it. Lifted my shirt.
Yes, lingerie karaoke. Yes,
yeah,
that's what he
y'all
wanted.
Don't have to keep saying
and
it.
I didn't know how to give that to him. Yes. Like, come on.
Yeah.
We had.
Listen, I said I've grown. Updates are many updates.
Yes.
But yeah, that's again, y'all. Because I know I got to relive it. So it just know, when you have you got a husband who did not come at you like that, be grateful because there's still dudes out here like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I think we're gonna. Okay.
What was next?
I think that was pretty much it. I mean, we just wanted to take a trip down memory lane. We were going to do a shorter version today because, we still are celebrating our son's birthday. We got some family over, but we want to just stop and, do our committed chronicles and, give us a little update. We'll come back next Sunday and we'll give a full one next week, and we'll talk about more about Apollonia and the whole Prince ideology that he just thought he was.
They don't want to hear that.
Yes, they do. Anyway, but everybody be safe this week. Take time to date. Get that quality time in.
Communicate with care.
And connect with intention. We'll see y'all next week.